The sea was supposed to erase her. That was the plan. A beautiful boat, a soft night, a royal invitation wrapped in a sun's smile, and beneath it all, murder. Now Agrippina the Younger stands inside her villa at Misenum, dripping with seawater, her clothes heavy against her skin, her body bruised from the waves. Outside, the Bay of Naples lies black and silent, as if it has swallowed the evidence. She has survived. And that is the problem, because somewhere nearby, Emperor Nero is waiting for news that his mother is dead. Before she was feared as an empress, before Rome whispered her name like a warning, Agrippina was born into the brightest bloodline in the empire. She was the daughter of Germanicus, a commander adored by soldiers and common people alike. In Rome, that kind of love was dangerous. Popularity could look like treason. Blood could be a crown, but it could also be a target painted across your back. Agrippina learned that early. Her father died far from Rome, surrounded by suspicion. Her mother, Agrippina the Elder, fought to protect the family name and was crushed by politics. One by one, the young girl saw that imperial palaces were not homes. They were traps with polished floors. Then came her brother, Caligula. At first, being his sister gave her visibility, honor, ceremony. Rome watched the imperial women with fascination. Their faces appeared in public rituals. Their presence gave legitimacy to a young emperor who needed the shine of family greatness. But Caligula's favor was never safe. Agrippina rose, then fell. She was accused, humiliated, and exiled. On a lonely island away from Rome, she learned the first brutal lesson of power. Affection is not security. Blood is not loyalty. Survival belongs to the person who can wait. And Agrippina waited. When Caligula was assassinated and Claudius rose to the throne, the doors of Rome opened again. Agrippina returned changed. She was no longer just a princess of a famous house. She was a woman who had watched men destroy one another for power, and she had taken notes. Claudius's court was a world of sealed letters, freedmen, rumors, poison, and ceremony. Every smile had a second meaning. Every marriage was a political weapon. And Agrippina understood the game perfectly. In AD 49, she married Claudius. The marriage shocked Rome. He was emperor. He was also her uncle. But in imperial politics, discomfort could be made legal, if power wanted it badly enough. Agrippina became empress, and she did not hide in the background. She moved with intention. Her son, Nero, became the center of her design. She pushed him forward, dressed him in legitimacy, wrapped him in the symbols of succession. Claudius adopted him, and with that single act, Nero stepped ahead of Britannicus, Claudius's own son. Imagine the palace then, Britannicus watching the future slip away from him, Nero being trained to smile like an heir, Agrippina standing between them, calm, controlled, reading the room better than anyone. Rome wanted mothers to be modest, silent, useful. Agrippina became public. Her image appeared beside Nero's on coins. Her title, Augusta, gave her authority. She received honors, sat near the machinery of state, and made herself visible in a world that believed female power should remain behind curtains. That visibility made her extraordinary. It also made her hated. When Claudius died in AD 54, the old whispers began again. Poison, mushrooms, palace plotting. Whether every rumor was true matters less than what the rumors reveal. Rome could imagine Agrippina as capable of anything because Rome was already afraid of what she had become. Nero became emperor. For a brief moment, mother and son ruled almost as one. He was young, charming, theatrical. She was experienced, disciplined, dangerous. In the early days, her influence was everywhere. She had built the bridge he walked across. But no emperor wants to feel guided forever, and no son wants the empire to see his mother's hand on his shoulder. Slowly, Nero pulled away. Advisors gained his ear. Pleasure softened his discipline. Pride sharpened his resentment. The woman who had made him emperor began to look, in his eyes, like the last person standing between him and absolute freedom. Then Britannicus died at a banquet. A young rival gone suddenly. A cup. A pause. A room pretending not to understand. Agrippina saw what Nero was becoming. This was no longer the boy she could manage. This was a ruler learning that death could solve political inconvenience. Soon, her guards were reduced, her honors faded, her access narrowed. The palace that once opened for her now closed room by room. Agrippina, who had placed Nero at the center of power, was pushed to the edge of it. Then came the invitation. Bai'ai, dinner, reconciliation. A son reaching out to his mother. The night must have looked gentle. Lamps glowing along the coast, polished dishes, soft conversation, the sea breathing below. Nero performed affection. Agrippina performed trust. Perhaps both knew they were performing. Perhaps that was what made it unbearable. Then he gave her the boat. Not an executioner's blade. Not a public accusation. A gift. A beautiful vessel built to break apart at sea. When it collapsed, chaos swallowed the night. Wood cracked. Voices screamed. The black water rushed in. But Agrippina did not die. Bruised, terrified, and sharp enough to understand everything, she fought her way through the waves and reached the shore alive. Back in her villa, she made the only move left. She pretended innocence. She sent Nero a calm message. She had survived an accident. She was safe. She was grateful. It was a brilliant lie, and a hopeless one. Nero panicked. A failed murder is more dangerous than no murder at all. Now Agrippina knew. Now she could speak. Now Rome might hear the impossible truth. The emperor had tried to kill his mother and failed. So the assassins came. Inside the villa, the air changes. Servants vanish into corners. Footsteps approach. Agrippina does not run. There is nowhere left to run from the empire she helped create. When the men enter, she understands that the sea was only the first attempt. Tradition remembers her final gesture with terrible poetry. She points to her womb, the place that carried Nero, and tells them to strike there. If this story moved you, there are more like it on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.